ladies and gentlemen, I grew up on a piano bench. My mother was a piano teacher, so it was utterly inescapable. She says that I begged to start lessons at the age of 4. I find that somewhat suspect. I think what actually happened is I saw my older brothers gaining her attention and focus while they were practicing, and I wanted in on the action. Our home was incredibly musical. Beyond piano, additional instruments were added. And throughout my childhood, it was pretty standard that I would spend between 2 and 3 hours a day in dedicated, focused music practice. By the time I graduated from college, I was relatively proficient on 4 instruments. There is one instrument that I really, really wish I would have had the opportunity to learn and practice. But that instrument was assessed to be, I think, less than valuable. At least that's the impression I came away with. There was a small wooden plaque on my brother's bedroom wall, and it had a little blurb on it, and that blurb went like this: "It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt." This is a quote that, according to the plaque, is attributable to our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. At some juncture in my childhood, I determined that I needed to take those words to heart, and I applied them like duct tape across my lips. The words themselves, I don't think, were the impetus for my silence, but they certainly reinforced the motivating factor. The motivating factor for my silence was the byproduct of this. "You be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. You stupid knothead. What makes you think that you have anything to add to this conversation? You're just a stupid kid." Harsh words that were always disproportionate to what it was I was trying to communicate. The term for this is verbal abuse, and it causes damage that is incredibly difficult to heal from. Don't want to launch off onto a big discussion of that tonight, other than to say that verbal abuse robs a person of their validity, it robs them of their sense of self, it robs them of their voice, it reduces and minimizes a person to a thing. What I experienced in childhood followed me into adulthood, and the verbal abuse I experienced as an adult was far more subtle and incredibly more devastating in its impact. I spent 26 years thinking I was absolutely crazy, because verbal abuse can and does mess with your sanity. The turning point for me came about 8 years ago when I was diagnosed with a malignant tumor in my spine. And that experience became a catalyst for me to begin a journey of change. And I had surgery to remove an entire vertebra from my spine. And during the recovery from that, I was blessed with the opportunity to begin learning and growing and changing and healing. Not only healing my spine, which by the way is now fortified with carbon fiber and titanium, but healing wounding on the inside, allowing me to learn how to have a release. That brings me to today, to this time, to this place. Today, I get to add a new instrument to my life. I get to choose to begin practicing my voice. What good are words? Words kill. Words give life. You choose. I choose. What good are words? Words of life, if they are never spoken,